my precious friend. There is a woman who walks among us, not noticed by many, not adored by crowds, and not cherished in the way her heart longs to be. She is the one who gives much and receives little. She pours, yet finds her own cup empty. She hopes, but so often waits alone. This is the story of the unloved woman. You will not hear her weep aloud. Her tears are not for others to see, but deep within her there is a quiet ache, a longing not for grandeur, but simply to be seen, to be valued, to be loved. Many ask what is wrong with her, but the truth is nothing. Nothing at all. She is not unloved, because people often fail to see. There is a cry that cannot always be heard with human ears. Yet it echoes through the chambers of a woman's soul. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. It is subtle, yet so persistent that it shapes her entire being. This is the deep cry of the heart of the unloved woman. It is the yearning to be acknowledged, not for her accomplishments or her outward beauty, but simply for her existence. It is the longing to matter, to be seen, to be embraced, not because of what she gives to others, but because of who she is. Often this cry begins in silence. She does not always have the language to express it, for the world has taught her to endure, to press on, to smile through the ache. But beneath her strength is a quiet plea. Will someone notice me? Will someone see beyond what I do and recognize who I am? The pain of being overlooked, of being dismissed, or treated as though she is invisible, begins to settle into the fabric of her identity. She questions her worth, not because she is unworthy, but because the world around her has failed to reflect her true value. This yearning is not about desperation. It is not about weakness. It is the natural response of a soul designed for connection, created for love, destined to be cherished. Every woman has within her a place that longs to be affirmed. When that affirmation never comes, when the compliments are absent, when the touch is missing, when the words, "I see you," are never spoken, that place begins to feel like a void. It is not selfishness. It is humanity. It is the result of being made to give and receive love, but only ever being expected to give. The deep cry of her heart often remains unheard because she becomes skilled at hiding it. She dresses well, she works hard, she encourages others, she smiles. And in doing so, she convinces the world, and sometimes even herself, that she is fine. But late at night, in the stillness of solitude, the cry returns. It is longing. It is the quiet hope that someday someone will look into her eyes and truly see her. Not the version she presents, but the truth of her being. Yet even in this place of longing, there is something sacred happening. In the loneliness, her heart becomes tender. In the absence of love from others, she becomes a seeker of a love that is higher, deeper, and more lasting. The cry of her heart may have begun with a desire for human affection, but it begins to shift. It transforms. It becomes a kind of yearning that only something eternal can satisfy. And that is where her healing begins, not in being noticed by many, but in being known by something far greater. Her cry is heard, not by the world, but by the one who shaped her soul. The battle between worth and rejection is one that many women face in silence. It is a quiet, internal war that rages within the heart of the unloved woman, a struggle that is often invisible to those around her. It is the clash between the desire to believe that she is worthy of love, respect, and admiration, and the overwhelming feelings of rejection that come from a world that often fails to recognize her true value. This internal conflict is not one that can be easily understood by outsiders, for it is not a battle of physical strength or outward resilience. It is a battle of the soul. Every woman, at some point in her life, faces rejection. It may come in the form of unrequited love, unmet expectations, or the subtle message that she is not enough, just as she is. Each moments of rejection are not merely experiences. They are wounds, sometimes deep, sometimes small, but always impactful. Each rejection chips away at the sense of worth, telling her that she does not measure up. Over time, on one side is the belief that she is worth more than what others have given her, and on the other side is the ever-encroaching shadow of rejection that whispers, "You are not worthy, you are not enough." The unloved woman's heart begins to feel torn. She longs to believe in her value, to believe that she is deserving of love and kindness, yet every rejection feeds the lie that she is not. This conflict wears on her spirit. She questions herself, her worth, and her place in the world. She may try to ignore the pain, pushing it down and convincing herself that she does not need validation from others. But the human heart is not meant to live in isolation. It was created for connection, for love, and for being seen. And when that connection is withheld, the heart begins to question its very existence. But what she doesn't yet realize, what the unloved woman has yet to discover, is that rejection does not define her. It is a chapter in her story, but it is not the conclusion. Rejection can be painful, and the scars it leaves may linger, but they do not determine her worth. The battle she faces between worth and rejection is not one that is fought in the external world. It is fought within her own heart. It is a battle to claim her own value, to recognize that her worth is not dictated by the approval or love of others, but by something far greater. She must learn to fight not against rejection itself, but against the lie that her value is tied to it. When the world tells her she is not enough, she must respond with the truth that she is more than enough. She is worthy not because of what she does, not because of how others see her, but because she is a unique creation made with purpose and love. Over time, the unloved woman can learn to stand firm in the face of rejection. She may never be immune to the pain it causes, but she can grow stronger in her understanding of her own worth. She can rise above the lies that try to tell her she is insignificant and embrace the truth that she is loved, she is worthy, and she is enough, just as she is. The battle between worth and rejection is ongoing, but with each victory, no matter how small, she begins to see herself as the beautiful, valuable woman she was always meant to be. There is a profound and transformative truth that the unloved woman must come to understand. Her beauty is not defined by the eyes of others, but by the depth of her heart and the richness of her spirit. Society often measures beauty by external standards, by what is seen and admired on the surface. The world tells women that their worth is tied to how they look, how they dress, and how they appear to the world. But this superficial beauty is fleeting, and it is not the true essence of who a woman is. True beauty lies not in what can be seen, but in what is felt, in what is deeply rooted within her soul. The unloved woman may have spent years searching for validation in the form of compliments or attention from others. She may have struggled with feelings of inadequacy because her outer appearance didn't match society's narrow standards of beauty. In her search for love and approval, she has often given more of herself than she has received. But there comes a time in every woman's life when she must learn to turn inward, to realize that her worth is not contingent on what others think of her, but on her own self-recognition of her inner beauty. True beauty is a reflection of the light that shines from within. It is the kindness in her heart, the love she has for others, and the strength that carries her through the toughest of times. It is found in her resilience, her courage to keep moving forward, even when the world seems to offer little in return. It is seen in her ability to offer grace, not only to others, but also to herself. It is found in her ability to nurture, to care, and to uplift, even when her own heart feels broken. These are the qualities that make a woman beautiful, not the way she looks or the way she is perceived by others. The journey of realizing true beauty is often long and difficult for the unloved woman. She must let go of the societal definition of beauty and embrace her own unique, radiant self. She must accept that the love she craves does not come from external sources, but from within herself. When she learns to see herself as beautiful, not because of her outward appearance, but because of her worth, her strength, and her capacity for love, she begins to experience she begins to realize that she is enough just as she is, and that the world's standards of beauty are nothing more than shallow illusions. This inner beauty does not diminish with time or change with the seasons. It grows stronger with age, with wisdom, and with every challenge she faces. It is timeless. And it is this kind of beauty that is truly magnetic. The woman who understands her own worth, who recognizes that her beauty is found in her heart and her spirit, becomes a woman who radiates confidence, grace, and love. She no longer seeks validation from others, for she is found it within herself. The unloved woman discovers that true beauty is not something that is given by others. It is something she claims for herself. It is not defined by the opinions of the world, but by the love she has for herself and the way she lives her life. When she sees her own worth, when she recognizes the depth of her inner beauty, she will find that the love she has longed for is not something she needs to seek outside herself. It is something she has always had, waiting to be embraced. The power of silence is something that the unloved woman may not immediately recognize, yet it is one of her greatest tools for healing and growth. When the world becomes overwhelming, when the noise of rejection, disappointment, and isolation becomes too much to bear, there is a quiet strength in silence that can connect with herself and with something greater than herself. In this silence, she finds the courage to listen to her heart, to listen to her spirit, and to hear the whispers of truth that often go unnoticed in the busyness of life. In moments of deep hurt, the unloved woman may feel as though her voice is not heard. She may feel invisible, as if her thoughts, her feelings, and her very existence are not worthy of acknowledgement. And yet, in these moments, Silence does not signify defeat. It signifies endurance. It is in silence that she learns to reflect on her journey, to process her pain, and to release the hurt that is accumulated in her heart. Silence allows her to reconnect with the truth of who she is, beyond the opinions and judgments of others. It gives her space to breathe, to be, and to heal. There is a profound beauty in this silence. It is in the quiet moments that the unloved woman can begin to hear the voice of love that has always been present within her. When the world is loud with criticism or neglect, silence becomes her refuge. It is where she can quiet the noise around her and reconnect with the quiet strength that lies within. In this space, she can hear the gentle reminder that she is not forgotten, that she is not unworthy. Silence becomes the place where she hears the affirmations that come not from others, but from herself and from the divine source of love that created her. Through silence, the unloved woman learns that her value is not determined by how much she speaks, by how loudly she fights for attention, or by how often she is noticed. Her value lies in her very being, in the way she moves through the world with grace and dignity, even when she is unseen. Silence teaches her to stop seeking validation from external sources and to start seeking validation from within. It teaches her that the loudest voices in the world are not always the ones that carry the most weight. Sometimes the most powerful voice is the quietest one, the one that is calm and steady, the one that knows its own worth without needing to shout about it. The unloved woman in her silence also learns to embrace patience. Healing does not come instantly. It is a process, a gradual unfolding that takes time. In the midst of her silence, she learns to wait. Wait for healing, wait for clarity, and wait for the moment when she can stand fully in her power, knowing that she is worthy of love and belonging. Silence teaches her that not everything needs to be rushed. Sometimes the most profound changes occur in stillness and solitude. This silence is not one of despair or resignation. It is a silence filled with strength, with quiet determination, and with the knowledge that she is on a path of transformation. It is in silence that she discovers the power to rise above the noise of rejection, the noise of neglect, and the noise of doubt. It is in silence that she finds her voice, not to shout, but to speak with clarity, with confidence, and with the unshakable belief that she is enough. In time, the unloved woman will emerge from her silence, stronger, wiser, and more aware of her own worth. She will no longer seek approval from the world around her because she will have learned to approve of herself. She will understand that her silence was not a sign of weakness, but a testament to her inner strength and resilience. And it is from this place of inner peace, found in silence, that she will begin to move forward with grace, knowing that she is loved, seen, and valued, not because of what others say, but because of the truth she has found within herself. The journey of healing for the unloved woman is deeply intertwined with the process of self-discovery. It is through the pain, the rejection, and the struggles that she begins to unearth the strength and resilience that lie within her. Healing is not a destination, nor is it an event. It is a lifelong journey of recognizing her worth, understanding her needs, and learning how to nurture herself in the ways that others may have failed to do. Each step along this path is a small act of self-love, a declaration that despite everything, she deserves to be cared for, respected, and cherished, not just by others, but by herself. Self-discovery is the key to unlocking the doors of healing. For too long, the unloved woman may have defined herself by the expectations and judgments of others. She may have believed that her worth was conditional, based on how others saw her, or how much she could give to those around her. But through the process of healing, she begins to realize that her worth is intrinsic. It does not depend on how much she sacrifices, how much she gives, or how much she pleases others. Her value lies in who she is at her core. She is worthy because she exists, because she breathes, because she is a unique and irreplaceable part of this world. Through self-discovery, the unloved woman begins to understand that her past does not define her future. She may have experienced rejection, abandonment, or neglect, but those experiences do not determine who she will become. Instead, it is her capacity to heal, to grow, and to reclaim her own power that defines her. She learns that she is not the sum of her wounds, but the sum of her ability to rise. This realization is both liberating and empowering. It is the moment when she understands that she has the strength to create her own narrative, to redefine her worth, and to shape her future according to her own desires and values. The process of self-discovery also teaches the unloved woman to be kind to herself, to offer herself the same compassion and understanding that she so often gives to others. For far too long, she may have been her harshest critic, always striving for perfection, always doubting her own worth. But through the journey of healing, she learns that self-compassion is not a weakness, it is a strength. It is the recognition that just like everyone else, she deserves love, care, and understanding, especially from herself. She begins to forgive herself for the mistakes she has made, for the times she has allowed others to take advantage of her kindness, and for the moments when she has doubted her own worth. This act of forgiveness is not just for others, it is for herself. The unloved woman learns that holding on to resentment, guilt, or anger only keeps her trapped in the past. Unable to move forward, by letting go of these burdens, she makes space for healing, for growth, and for the possibility of love. Love that starts with her. Through self-discovery, she learns to embrace her imperfections, to accept her flaws, and to understand that it is these very things that make her human. She no longer strives for perfection, but for authenticity. She learns that being herself is enough. As she progresses on this journey, the unloved woman begins to form a deep connection with herself. She no longer feels the need to prove her worth to anyone because she knows without a doubt that she is worthy. Her self-esteem no longer hinges on the validation of others. Instead, it is rooted in the understanding that she is enough, just as she is. She discovers the joy of solitude, the peace of being alone with her thoughts, and the comfort of her own company. She learns to listen to her own needs, to honor her emotions, and to care for herself in the ways that nourish her body, mind, and soul. The journey of self-discovery is the path to freedom. It is the freedom to be who she truly is, to live authentically, and to love herself fully. The unloved woman no longer seeks external validation because she has found validation within herself. She has discovered that the love and acceptance she has longed for are not found in the eyes of others, but in the mirror she holds up to herself. She is healed not because others have healed her, but because she has healed herself through the power of self-discovery, self-love, and self-acceptance. The transformation of the unloved woman is not simply about learning to accept herself, it is about learning to love herself in the deepest, most profound way. This self-love is the key to breaking free from the chains of insecurity, fear, and self-doubt that may have held her captive for so long. For the unloved woman, the journey of self-love begins with the realization that she is not defined by her past, nor by the way she has been treated by others. Her worth is inherent, not dependent on anyone's recognition, and her beauty shines from within. The first step toward true self-love is understanding that love is not something she has to earn, nor is it something she has to seek externally. Love is already within her. It is not a commodity to be bought or a gift to be given by others. It is an energy that flows naturally from her heart, one that she can tap into and nourish. Self-love begins with the simple act of acknowledging her own value. It is the recognition that just as she would give love to someone else, she deserves to give love to herself. This means embracing her strengths, acknowledging her weaknesses without judgment, and treating herself with kindness and compassion, just as she would a dear friend. In many ways, self-love is a radical act for the unloved woman. It requires her to dismantle the belief systems that have been ingrained in her for so long, beliefs that tell her she is not enough, that she is unworthy, or that she must seek validation from the outside world. The societal message that a woman's worth is tied to her appearance, her relationship status, or her ability to please others is a damaging one. It leaves many women feeling as though they must prove themselves over and over again, just to be seen, just to be loved. But true self-love teaches the unloved woman that she does not need to prove anything to anyone. She is worthy simply by being herself. Self-love also involves a deep acceptance of all parts of herself, the light and the shadow. It means embracing her imperfections and understanding that they are not flaws to be fixed, but rather aspects of her humanity that make her unique. The unloved woman learns that she does not have to be perfect to be loved, and that her worth is not contingent on her ability to meet unrealistic expectations. She learns to let go of the need for approval and to embrace her authentic self, knowing that she is enough as she is. As she nurtures self-love, the unloved woman begins to set boundaries that protect her emotional, mental, and physical well-being. She learns to say no when she needs to prioritize her needs without guilt, and to walk away from relationships or situations that no longer serve her. This is an essential aspect of self-love. Understanding that self-care is not selfish, but necessary. She realizes that by honoring herself, she creates space for healthier relationships, more fulfilling experiences, and a greater sense of peace within herself. Self-love is also an ongoing practice. It is not something that happens overnight, nor is it something that can be fully achieved and then forgotten. It requires daily attention, patience, and commitment. There will be moments when the unloved woman will feel discouraged, when she will doubt her worth, or feel rejected by others. But in these moments, self-love reminds her to be gentle with herself, to offer herself the same compassion that she would extend to someone else in her position. It is through this continual practice that she builds a stronger foundation of self-worth and resilience. True self-love is not about self-centeredness or narcissism. It is about the recognition of her inherent value as a person, independent of the validation of others. It is about giving herself permission to live a life that is true to her, to follow her own dreams and passions, and to stand confidently in her own skin. The unloved woman who embraces self-love becomes a force of nature. A woman who knows her worth, who values herself deeply, and who walks through life with grace, strength, and authenticity. Self-love is the foundation upon which all other love is built. When the unloved woman learns to love herself, she not only heals the wounds of her past, but she opens herself up to the possibility of love from others as well. The love she has always longed for is not something that she has to seek outside herself. It is something that she first creates within. And as she embodies this love, it radiates outwards, attracting the self-love is the ultimate form of empowerment. And it is the key to the transformation that the unloved woman so deeply deserves. Thanks for watching.